It's time to talk sports. It's Hacksaw's Headlines, a panorama of the world of sports, stories, comments, and opinions. Now, here's iconic sports talk show host Lee Hacksaw Hamilton and co-host John Riley.
Who wants to talk sports in a rainstorm? We do. You do. From the DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Center studios in San Diego, coming off a great sports weekend, we welcome you to our Monday bonus podcast. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, along with my co-host, John Riley, normally placated in left field, but because it's raining so hard outside in Southern California, we've allowed him to come here into the studio. And we welcome you to our Monday podcast. We have an awful lot to talk about. This podcast is brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. Been in business for more than 100 years. You got projects, they've got materials. You want ideas, they can be your best friend and your consultant. I invite you to go to DIXIELINE.com to see all the things they have to offer. John Riley, it's raining like hell. They're saying 4 days of rain in Southern California. They're saying 7 feet of snow in the Sierras. Aren't you lucky you're not in left field today?
Yeah. Well, this is February, man. You know, it's all good. People are out there skiing, and it's time for the Olympics, too.
Yeah. So we're going to go a lot of different directions on this podcast. When we are done, because we do sports talk the way it should be done, we put topics on the table, we express opinions, and then we let you dial in and give us your opinion in what's called Fans Forum. When we're done, you take over the podcast. John, how does Fans Forum work?
Dial in. You use a Rolodex. You read you have a typewriter. You read the newspaper. Anyways, hey, if you got a comment in the world of sports for Hacksaw, drop your hot take in the live chat. YouTube, X, Facebook. We'll get you on board on Fans Forum.
It's called old school. You got a problem? Old school equals experience equals knowledge. You got a problem with that?
Yeah, but man, it's the 21st century, dude. So join us, please.
We are. We're on a podcast. We're on 12 different social media platforms. Shut the bleep up. Hey, listen, we're going to go a lot of different directions on this podcast. We invite you to get involved. We really enjoy having you with us. We're in our 4th year together doing this. A couple of other notes. I write about sports every day of the week. Just go to my website, LeeHacksawHamilton.com. You're a baseball fan, you should read what I wrote about the Padres today on my website in my One Man's Opinion column. When you go to my website, there's a big orange box right on the homepage. That is for those of you who want to join Hacksaw's Insiders Group. You fill out the box, you get on the email list. We send out 2 emails a day to everybody that's part of Hacksaw's Insiders Group. Invite you to subscribe, share, tell everybody what we do Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30. And when you subscribe, when we put additional videos up on the YouTube channel, you will get the alert from us. And of course, I want you to join me on Twitter, become part of my Twitter All-Star team on X. Just type in my name, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, hit the follow button, or just join us. And we want you to give us a thumbs up. Hit the follow button, give us a 5-star rating. It really helps us grow this podcast. I'm ready. You're ready. Damn, I got 4 pages of notes today. Yeah, we're going to be ready to talk.
There's been a lot of big news with the Padres over the weekend and really big news today.
We are baseball-centric. I'm batting leadoff with this topic, all things Padres. John, first one. It involves the general manager. AJ-RELENTLESS got his contract extension formally announced early morning today at spring training. John SEIDLER broke his silence and elected to finally meet with the media and talked extensively about AJ-RELENTLESS and the potential of the sale of the team. These are the hot button quotes from John SEIDLER. After more than a year of talks with AJ-RELENTLESS about what the structure of the contract should be, he said he's relentless in his commitment to invest in talent for the franchise. He says he is the architect of all this. We are here because of him. He admitted there was a long delay in talking contract extension with AJ because Preller's never in town. He ran through a laundry list of where AJ's been in the last couple of months, traveling from the Caribbean to Korea to Japan. Says we talked 4 times in 1 year because of his travel schedule. He says all things are set going forward. And he says we're going to continue the vision of Peter Seidler. And they have, because now they've pushed their payroll beyond where it was last year. as it relates to the sale of the Padres. He quoted what Rob Manfred, the commissioner, said, robust interest in the sale of the team. And then he threw this into the equation. There's more than 3 bidders. The national media has reported 3. There's more than 3 bidders. He said they all must keep the team here. The team will not be moved. I want someone with San Diego ties. That leads me to believe Kreidler out of Houston might be the lead guy for this. But it is interesting. There are more than 3 bidders for the Padres, and the Padres franchise, I think, is going to be sold, I would think, sometime by midseason. John, your response to the Preller contract and the quotes by John Seidler.
Yeah, I mean, look at those quotes up there. I mean, yeah, AJ is the architect. I mean, he's built this thing. I mean, thank goodness that the team had some, gave him a check to write. But, I mean, actually, you've been going on and on about how he hasn't won anything. They've never made it to a World Series. He's traded away the farm system 23 times, but he got renewed. You were doubting this the whole time. You thought that maybe this was it.
No, I was of the opinion the Seidlers were not going to move on it. They would let the potential new owner make the decision. And instead, boom, just like that, they snapped their fingers and here we are.
Well, now, read between the lines here on this. They said that the terms of the deal are private. So what does that make you think is really in that deal?
They just did not want to disclose whether they gave him a 3-year extension, a 1-year extension, or a 5-year extension. I don't think they wanted to disclose whether it was a $3 million a year contract or something wild like $5 million a season, which has been reported nationally. They wanted to keep that in-house. To me, it doesn't matter. It'd be nice to know. So there we are.
Yeah, transparency is a good thing. I just kind of wonder if there are some incentive clauses in there. The way they structure deals for players, you can make an argument that, AJ, we're not going to give you the bank, but we're going to give you a solid base and with a number of bonus opportunities.
Could be. Maybe there's some creative financing in his contract, like there's creative financing in all these other contracts. I think the Padres had a really good weekend. I mean, this is the first piece of good news going forward about this franchise because, John, all the uncertainty over ownership is item 1. The uncertainty over the general manager is item 2. The uncertainty over the budget is item 3. The uncertainty over how are you going to find any pitching as day by day, every big name came off the board. And the uncertainty of you got this hole in this portion of the roster, that segment in the field, how are you going to solve that? And lickety split, guys become available at the last minute and they dive in. I think the intangible, aside from the creative juice that Preller brings to the job, he has made Padre baseball relevant in this town. And I think he has made Padre baseball a destination point for guys out of town want to come here and play.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you hear the comments from some of the new guys that they signed. Everyone's like, I've heard great things about San Diego. This is where I want to be. I mean, it's such a change, a refreshing change from where this Padres franchise was a long time ago. I say brilliant. I'm happy AJ got renewed. I think he deserves it. We have some stability. We've answered the questions about AJ. Like to your point, we got a glimpse of what might be coming with ownership. Now, you say the guy from Houston, is he the one that grew up in San Diego?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be cool if those local ties work. But the other 2 bidders, aren't they the ones that own Premier League teams?
Yes.
Okay, so all those guys have deep pockets, right?
But John Seidler has also indicated there are other bidders.
Okay, great. I mean, great. Bring them on.
Okay. So we go from what just happened in the early morning hours today where they formally announced it to obviously what happened over the weekend. And we're talking about what happened in terms of player acquisitions, starting with that guy.
A shopping spree. Welcome to San Diego, Nick Castellanos.
We've talked and laughed and joked and critiqued AJ Preller was that him on aisle 3 shopping at Dollar General for players?
Yeah.
Well, I think I saw him at 7-Eleven this weekend buying lottery tickets.
Yeah, okay.
He's buying a lottery ticket for Nick Castellanos on a 1-year deal. Lottery ticket on Griff Canning, ex-Angel pitcher on a 1-year deal. Lottery ticket on German Marquez, Colorado Rockies in a 1-year deal. And in the morning hours today, another lottery ticket on Ty France, Gold Glove first baseman, third baseman, ex-Padre, went to the Mariners, has done pretty well, ex-San Diego State Aztec. So all of a sudden, they add 4 pieces here, very affordable contracts, with the idea, I got a lottery ticket here. Maybe one of these guys is going to be a lottery hit for this roster that's going to make a difference. Let's talk about Castellanos. Pretty good ball player. Career 270 batting average, 250 career home runs, more outfielder than anything, but not really good with glove. It will take attitude adjustment for Castellanos coming here because he's not going to be an everyday player. Now, he might be part-time DH, platoon DH, part-time first baseman. If there's injuries, maybe he goes in the outfield, but he's not playing right field because Tatis is there. So it will take attitude adjustment. At the end of the day, this is a prove-yourself contract. His numbers have declined 3 years in a row in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And there's some attitudinal issues about what happened to him in Philadelphia. So he hits the reset button here, and he openly said in his first meeting with the media yesterday, I'll do whatever they want. So it's a prove that you're not done type season, and he's going to be surrounded by a pretty good batting order. So pretty good acquisition, and they got him for next to nothing. Philadelphia is paying $19.2 million of the $20 million that he was owed. So this is the first lottery ticket. Griff Canning, the second lottery ticket. Pitched well for the Angels. Injury problem. Rebuilt himself. Changed some of the grips on balls. Had his best season in the majors last year with the Mets before he tore his Achilles. 7-3, 3.77 ERA. Now, he's not going to be ready for opening day. He'll be ready probably by May 1st. German Marquez comes from the Colorado Rockies. Workhorse. Ton of innings. Good pitcher. Power pitcher. Bad franchise. Thin air. Really rocky time for him. Career record of 65-72. ERA a shade over 4. That's pretty respectful since half his starts were up there in Denver. Last season, miserable. 3-16, ERA of 6.78. But in the middle of the season, again, he had come back from forearm surgery, had missed a year. In the middle of the season, he had 8 quality starts in an 11-start span.
Yeah.
I mean, dominant starts. That was pretty impressive. Then he got hurt again, and he was gone. Marquez comes in here. He's totally healthy. The wild card in the Marquez acquisition, Bud Black, just came to work for the Padres.
Nice.
Bud Black was his manager for the 6 years he was up in Denver. He was the front end of what was supposed to be a really good Rockies rotation. And every one of those guys, Marquez, John Gray, Kyle Freeland, and there was a fourth one, all of them got hurt. And that was supposed to be the cornerstone of the Rockies, going to be very good.
Gomber,
that's right. So that's the intangible. Bud Black knows this guy. Bud Black was there last season when this guy had 8 good starts in the span of 11 before he got hurt again. And the last one was Ty France. Multi-position guy, self-made guy, a little bit of power, decent bat, 262, 81 career home runs, has turned himself into a Gold Glove first baseman. So maybe he goes to the front of the class as the platoon for Ryan Sheets, and he can hit with a little bit of power. So I use the term great sports weekend all the time on this podcast. It was a great sports weekend for the Padres. They got Preller. They got themselves 2 guys who can pop it some, and they got 2 pitchers to add depth to a wafer-thin starting rotation. To me, just win-win across the board. And your reaction?
Who in the hell is Ryan Sheets?
Gavin Sheets.
Yeah, you're still stuck on O'Hearn. No, anyways, I'm just teasing.
Or Ryan Klesko.
Yeah, one of those guys. No, it was a good weekend. I mean, on Thursday, we were wondering, when we did our last episode, what the hell's going on? We got all these missing pieces. You don't know about Preller.
And then when Zach Gallen comes off the board, that's it.
Well, it seemed like maybe were the Padres in on Gallen, and the minute he went off the board, they went to plan B?
Yes. Well, they had no chance because they were not going to pay him $22 million for 1 year, regardless of how it was structured.
Yeah.
And Scott Boras was not going to deliver him for 3 years. And again, remember the sidebar to the whole Zach Gallen situation was you're giving up 2nd and 5th round draft picks and $1 million in international money.
Yeah.
The Padres are not going to do that on a one-year transaction.
Well, did you note that apparently Merrill Kelly was offered 3 years guaranteed by the Padres?
Mhm.
He said so. And it was interesting how Kelly and Gallen said, you know, we're essentially loyal to the Diamondbacks. We want to go back. But let's talk Padres here. This Castellanos thing, I mean, when that story broke about how all the bad juju went down, that was not good. I mean, it was like a guy like burning a bridge on fire as he's walking out the door. And I'm like, I don't know. And then, I mean, first you're a little intrigued, like, hey, some power, but that could be bad. But I'll tell you what, the guys in the clubhouse all seem to be supportive of him. You know, they're all up for change of scenery. But you know, even in the interviews of Castellanos, you could tell he was being a little bit guarded, a little bit coy, a little snarky, not being as, what's the right word, just as forthcoming and as honest as I think he could be. So we'll see how it goes. But I kind of wonder, the Ty France deal that was added here just this morning, I wonder if that's an insurance policy. I thought insurance policy if the Castellanos thing goes south.
Well, except that Ty France is a multi-position guy. So he's an insurance policy against injury.
Yeah.
And he's already played a bunch of first base and got a Gold Glove there.
That's amazing, too, because he's not a real lanky guy. But, you know, I was thinking just Ty France as a DH would be a solid DH. It's not going to light the world on fire, but you could slot him in, you know, 6 or 7 and have good productivity.
Yeah, so I like that acquisition. And in terms of the pitching?
You know, Herman Marquez was hella good against the Padres before he got hurt.
Yep.
And I remember he was their main guy.
Workhorse.
Yeah, and he did a great job. So if Preller and Bud Black and or not Preller, Niebla and Bud Black can figure him out, great. The Canning kid, I don't know enough about. The last year's numbers look great, but you know, it's just like you say, he went to 7-Eleven, he bought a bunch of lotto tickets, you know. But the beautiful thing is that all those empty spots are filling in. The bench is filling in. We don't have a, you know, Yuli Gurriel. We don't have a Brandon Lockwood. We don't have, you know, Jason Hayward. And then for the pitching, you know, you need to have like 8, 9, 10 guys that have started. And so now they're plugging in the back end of that, you know, with these 2 guys. So I say thumbs up to Preller, and what a time to get an extension.
AJ must listen to this podcast because the guys have signed are guys that we have talked about for weeks upon weeks upon weeks.
Yeah, but Preller played the market, man. There wasn't a whole lot of interest in those guys. He let it hang out, drag out, and he got the best value. So, you know, good on AJ.
Lottery ticket.
Totally. I mean, it is.
Now, you're a Padre fan. Your reaction to the Preller signing, fans forum chat box is open. Fill it up. You're a Padre fan. So how do you rate Castellanos, Ty France, the ex-Angel, and the ex-Rocky pitcher joining the roster? I think it completes the roster. Your fans forum opinion is invited, demanded right now. Jump into the chat box. And we're not done with Padre baseball because we got an interesting discussion coming up here about the third baseman.
The third baseman, Manny Machado. He had something to say about AJ.
Something's changed. Leadership. I've never seen this before from that guy. He's never been vocal in that clubhouse. He's never taken a stance on anything. You know, I used the phrase during what I thought was some really crappy rosters that I had to deal with. There's a bunch of me, myself, and I guys on that Padre roster early on.
Mm-hmm.
And he was one of them. He came here. He came here because they offered him $30 million. Nobody else offered him $30 million. He would have
times 10.
Yeah. He would have gone to the moon for $30 million.
Mm.
And he just was not a leader. He was just a star player. Something's changed. And I don't know whether it's the relationship Machado had with Peter Seidler. I don't know whether it's maturity, whether it's fatherhood. What he did this week, he had never, ever done before. He had never stood up in the clubhouse and made statements about what he felt about what was going on. And when he made the comments about you get a $20 million a year ball player for pennies, think about your general manager and what that general manager just accomplished. And then he followed that up with saying, geez, you know, they gave contract extensions to the president of the team and they didn't give a contract extension to this guy, Preller. That's weird. And he went on and on and on with this dialogue. One guy got an extension, the other one didn't. That's really weird. He said, these players in this clubhouse know the value of AJ Preller. You know, and he said, he said this morning, I've never known anyone that cares about an organization or about players like this guy, AJ, does. He's truthful in every conversation, and Padre players believe in him. This is coming from Mr. Me, Myself, and I, who never had an opinion nor anything worth listening to up until yesterday. And now suddenly he stood up and he's become a leader. So something's changed with the whole Manny Machado relationship. Manny Machado, the player, Manny Machado, the person. And I think it's a real positive. Your reaction?
Hell yeah. Yeah, Manny, he's the man. You know, and yeah, I think it is a maturation process, and you know, we all kind of evolve that way, right? And you know, you kind of take them in steps along the way. It's not a smooth transition to leadership. But you know, he was talking about the Dodgers, and he says, I effing love that. You know, that they spend all the money, and we don't need a cap, and you know, these owners all need to spend their cash, and there's a lot of truth to what he says. And here he's praising AJ, and you know, he had a lot to say about Nick Castellanos. So remember at the end of the season last year, when they went out in the playoff game against the Cubs, and was one of the TV reporters asked him, so how do you feel about how your season finished up? And Manny gave him a snarky response. Yep. Remember, like, what do you think I feel? Well, I think, you know, again, he's a better dude now than he was even in October. And I saw the video imaging of Machado out at the batting cages, you know, with Tatis and Cronenworth, and little Machado was running around there. And so, yeah, I think that's got something to do with it.
Yeah. This was something out of the extraordinary. Have never, ever seen this before from Manny Machado. He's got a lot of fans, and he's got a lot of detractors. But this is a very different dude right now in terms of stepping up, sounding off, and being a leader. I was pretty impressed.
Well, you know, for a lot of these guys, when they're young, they're really shooting from the hip when they're interviewed, and they say things they probably shouldn't say. Manny quickly got to the point where he was like a professional responder to the interview questions, and he'd give you a you know, we're out there, we're grinding, we're working hard.
It's called a cliche.
Yeah, he has the cliches, but he answered them professionally. But you never really got inside Manny. But now we are, and I think what I'm seeing is all positive.
Right now, the roster looks complete. I think they're ready for Major League Baseball. You're a Padre fan. Fans Forum chat box belongs to you. Comment on Machado. Do you think he is now different? They need a leader. They need a vocal guy that's in the lineup every day who's going to take public stances. Agree or disagree? Forever turned off by Manny's comment going out the door with the Dodgers after that World Series. Well, I don't have to be Johnny Hustle. Well, yes, you do, for the kind of money you're making. That thing was stapled to his shirt for his entire career and the rest of his life.
Then there was who was it? Was it Pedroia? Was it the guy for the Red Sox? He took him out and damaged his knee. And there was the first baseman for the Brewers that got spiked by him. Yeah, he's grown up, you know, but in the end, I've always liked him. I mean, even when he came here, it just felt like suddenly the Padres have a dude. I mean, and it's not just a great player, but a guy with like some edge, you know, and a guy that we're like, wow, Manny Machado is playing for the Padres. We haven't been able to say that about a player in forever.
No, please. We had Tony Gwynn here.
But that was over 20 years ago, Lee. And same with Hoffman. It was a long time ago. So when we got a dude in here, I was like, we're legit. I mean, he has made a big difference. But yeah, he's growing. And who else are you going to look up to on this team? Who's the other leader? You know, it used to be Stammen when he was a ball player. Now he's a manager. So, you know, it's kind of cool, by the way, that Machado and Stammen have that relationship. And by the way, Castellanos likes Stammen because he put the spikes on. And he played. He was legit.
Okay, that's where we are, all things Padres, because we're baseball-centric on this podcast. So we've talked about players, stars, personalities, philosophies. Well, let's go to Dodger baseball. We're talking about something really different that happened this weekend. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of emotion outpouring for Alex Vesia.
Vesia, of course, was one of the left-handed relievers that was part of this consortium that got the Dodgers into the playoffs, the good season, another division title, and left the day before the World Series started without explanation except it was a personal problem. And we come to finally find out, well after the World Series is completed and the Dodgers celebrate, that Alex Vesia and the wife lost their baby girl at birth in the hospital right before the start of the World Series. His first appearance and his first meeting with the media on the weekend at Camelback Ranch, it was unbelievable. He read from a prepared statement, and it just moved you. Quote, "I was not prepared not to bring my baby girl home from the hospital." He called the Dodgers the light in our family darkness. And he saluted the Blue Jay players who went to the Dodgers at the start of the World Series and said, "We're going to put number 51 on all the caps of the Blue Jay players." And then the Dodgers did too, for the whole world to see the support they had for Alex Vesia. John, it was moving. I watched the whole press conference. It was the courage, the strength to stand there and just to pour it out from the heart of what they went through, and then his view of everybody that kind of knew the story from within the clubhouse to put their arms around him. That was pretty impressive.
You're choked up, man.
If you walked down that road before when you've lost a child, yes.
Yeah, that's moving. I mean, so, this all goes back to, the Dodger clubhouse and how, what kind of good vibes they have there, and there's a lot of love for their guy, a lot of support for their guy. He's a good pitcher. I mean, he's one of their better lefties out of the bullpen. So wish him and his family nothing but the best.
It was something to stand there and see and listen to him read. And I kind of knew what had transpired. It really had not been reported. But boy, just amazing, the outpouring. And for him to say the Blue Jays and the Dodgers forever class. Pretty cool.
Love to see.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
So that's all things baseball. Feel free. Jump on board. You got a question, a comment, a statement to make. Fans Forum chat box is open for business. Last set of topics on the table. Other stories, other places in Major League Baseball.
We're talking about the FBI, some gambling in baseball.
Well, we're continuing to track this whole story involving Emmanuel Clase Cleveland. FBI released more information this weekend as the report continues to grow. The report last week was that Clase had tipped off pitches that thrown pitches away in 46 different games over a 2-year span.
Wow. This
was not an isolated odd incident. Now they got all this data, this information that Clase had code words that he was texting gamblers while he was in the bullpen, just before he was coming on to pitch. Code words that would tip gamblers off that when he was going to throw a bad pitch. FBI revealed one sentence: "I will throw a rock to the first rooster. I'm throwing a ball in the dirt to the first batter." And FBI went back and did all this checking with all the casinos and the syndicates, anybody placing bets on Clase, and they matched the code words to the first pitch that Clase would throw. Bingo, guy would throw it away. And the worst part of it is he did it in the playoffs. In the 2024 playoffs, pitching out of the bullpen for Cleveland, he was tipping gamblers in the bullpen. "I'm coming in, I'm going to throw a rock to the first rooster."
Not good.
Not good at all. Gamblers won $460,000 on the tip pitches over 46 games over a 2-season span, and he did it in the postseason. Prison time, baby. So that's one story. Second story, Philadelphia Phillies. I'm not quite sure I understand why Dave Dombrowski would do this. This is after he got rid of Castellanos. Dave Dombrowski went public and made a comment to Bryce Harper that he no longer thinks he's an elite player. How is that possible? Now, Granted, his numbers, Bryce Harper's numbers were off last year. 261 batting average, 27 homers, but he was hurt. He's had major injuries 2+ years in a row. But why would Dombrowski, who's got 6 years left on that contract, to Bryce Harper, take that shot that he's no longer an elite player? He's your cornerstone guy. I really found that hard to believe. And the last topic is Tampa Bay. They opened the doors. Here came team officials. Here came city officials. Here comes the media. Tropicana Field open for business. They completed the total renovation of Tropicana Field post-hurricane. Brand new roof, new scoreboards. Really looks clean, looks snazzy, really looks different, does not look run down. And they did it 6 weeks ahead of schedule. Because there was a lot of fear that the Rays were going to have to open the season again at Steinbrenner's Legend Field, the minor league ballpark, because they were fearful they could not get this thing done. Tampa Bay did it. So you want to talk about Cleveland, Tampa Bay, Philadelphia?
Well, for the Cleveland story, I mean, it's obviously this is an ugly story about Class A gambling, tipping pitches in the bullpen and the playoffs. But in a way, I'm kind of happy about this story because this is a serious change. This is an inflection point in the world of sports with all this FanDuel and, DraftKings and betting going on. So you want to see an aggressive, FBI
stance.
Going after this. You want to see the MLB front office, really open the door for this kind of investigation to occur. And so that's good for the league, for the integrity of the game. And so I hope Class A, they throw the book at the guy for this, and so that's an intriguing story to see this one unfold.
Yep.
And then as far as the Phillies, I mean, why? It's such an unnecessary comment. I mean, why do you need to slam, Bryce Harper? I mean, we all know he's not one of the top 3 guys in baseball anymore, but he's still an all-star. He's still a top 10, top 20 player. You don't need to, be disparaging. It was so unnecessary and not helpful.
And he's been grinding. That's all he does is play baseball. He's been with the Phillies since he was age 20? He's 31 now.
Wasn't he with the Nationals originally?
Early on. Yeah.
Early on. So then the last story at the Rays, I saw a picture of that roof. Looks like some sort of like a circus tent.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I hope it all works out for them. I mean, that's a stadium issue you'd love to see resolved, but inside is it AstroTurf? I mean, or is it it's obviously not real grass.
No, it's some type of special turf.
Yeah. So it's still kind of a bizarre stadium. They're still going to build a new one, right? So
yes. Well, they're working on that. Definitely.
Okay.
So that's all things baseball. Feel free to join us. We're going from that. Let's talk a little basketball. Wow.
Saturday night, those Aztecs, they took care of the Wolfpack.
Wow. They look complete.
Totally.
They look great. They look different. Magoon Guath shed the 2-pound brace. He goes out in his first 12 minutes. And again, he missed 6 weeks with a hip injury. And it has been a struggle for the entire calendar season because of the rehab from last year's knee surgery. In his first 12 minutes against Nevada, 11 points, 5 rebounds, 3 block shots. And he said taking that 3-pound brace off his knee made the entire difference. He looked good. Reese Waters is on a heater. He had 20 points. BJ Davis has found his stroke again. He scored 14. Now it's kind of a bizarre night. San Diego State had a 14-point lead, lost it. Nevada came back with a 13-2 run. Aztecs answered with a 13-0 run and then just blew the doors off them. Nevada has not won in 17 straight games at Viejas Arena. It's absolutely amazing. San Diego State, they look complete. Now that Guath is back. So it'll be interesting because a week from now, they go to the pit in Albuquerque. So that's one topic. Speaking of Aztecs, let's talk Lady Aztecs. Nobody's covering this. Nobody's talking about this. They beat Nevada's women by 37 on the road.
Wow.
Lady Aztecs are now 20-4 on the season, 14-1 on the Mountain West. Any votes in the polls for the Lady Aztecs? Not yet. Why? Speaking of women's basketball, UCLA's women are better than UCLA's men. Mick Cronin's team got beat by 30. By 30.
By who?
Michigan. in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, that damn good team, though.
Damn good team. UCLA's women have won 19 in a row.
Oh, hell yeah.
So the best basketball at Pauley Pavilion are the Lady Bruins, not Mick Cronin's team.
Well, the Lady Bruins had this one young lady down there who was really good. Was a post player. They still have her. I got to follow all this. I love watching the women's basketball.
Pretty good. And speaking of basketball, another one got beat. Another unbeaten team got beat, and now number 1 Arizona got beat. Arizona got ambushed by Texas Tech. J.T. Toppin, who started his career at New Mexico. It's 3 baskets in overtime. Red Raiders come from behind. They upset Arizona. Arizona's lost 2 in a row. And they also lost Koa Pete, their big power forward, with a leg injury. So remember, the season started, we had all these unbeaten guys. The only unbeaten one left in the country is Miami of Ohio at 25-0. But remember, Purdue was unbeaten. They got whacked back-to-back. Iowa State was unbeaten. They lost 2 in a row. And then obviously Michigan was unbeaten. They got beat twice. And now Arizona's dropped 2 games in a week. So
yeah, you love to see it. I mean, it's competitive.
March Madness, baby. Can't get here quick enough. And the last one is really ugly. St. John's Providence, 6 guys ejected for a really out-of-control on-court fight. Rick Pitino kind of fueled it by running off the bench. I'm surprised he's not been suspended yet. They have suspended 4 of the 6 players that are involved throwing punches. It was really, really ugly.
Yeah.
So go ahead. You want to talk about the Aztecs?
They
look good. They look complete.
They looked fantastic. And I love seeing the whole thing. I'm surprised you aren't taking shots at Miles Burt because you've been on his case lately.
Well, he didn't have another good offensive game. He was MIA, but it was made up for by everybody else.
He had the second most rebounds on the team, know, and he's very integral to that whole thing going.
I've heard the sales pitch.
I know, but he's a hell of a player. But to your point, Magoon Guath changes everything. And you love to see him post line up for a 3-point shot. But it was just the way he played defense and the way he was just not just tipping balls away, but freaking smacking them down.
What he did in 12 minutes was astounding.
It was. I mean, it's so now you're going, oh my gosh, we haven't seen this Magoon Wath in really over 12 months.
Yep.
So this was fantastic. And so, I talked about how the team is ramping up going into the end of the season. This is looking nice. And right now, I think Reese Dixon-Waters, you would think he'd have to be the Mountain West Player of the Year.
If he keeps it up.
Yeah, especially if the Aztecs win the conference. He's looked so good, so strong, so mature. He'll take those mid-range shots, not a problem. But, yeah, you just love seeing it all. And by the way, our guy, Keyshawn Johnson, NBA slam dunk champ. What do you think of that, Lee?
We're going to talk about that. That's the next topic on the table.
Okay, we'll save that till later. Okay, then, Arizona, they lose 2. It's nice to... In one way, it's nice to see the big guys get knocked off, but we haven't seen an undefeated team since Bobby Knight.
Forever.
1976.
Yep.
I know the UNLV team came close.
Yep.
I think if they would have beat Duke that one year, they would have been undefeated. And Rick Pitino, how old is that guy?
He's got to be pushing 75.
And so I don't want to see him out there running around with those big boys on the court trying to break up a fight. I mean,
you can't come off the bench. He came off the bench and everybody came off the bench. It was bad. It was scary.
Yeah. Yeah. Testosterone.
Way too much.
Yeah, way too much.
Okay. You're an Aztec fan, friend, alum. They look complete to me. How do they look to you with Guath doing what Guath does? We go from that. Last topic before we spill to halftime, all things NBA.
NBA. We have some big problems in the NBA. What does Adam Silver say?
All right. Let's talk first of all, NBA All-Star Weekend. I know you like French pastry. The tournaments, some of it looked okay. Some of it was ragtag. It looked more pickup basketball than it looked like guys playing hard, stars versus stars. But that's what they did up in LA at the Intuit Dome. What they should do is use this as a springboard, come back next year, just have NBA All-Star Team World. Let them play a game, not a 10-minute quarter, not first guy to 40 points. Let them play a game because we got enough stars now globally, enough stars here from the U.S. That's what the All-Star game should be. Team USA versus Team World. I didn't like this thing looking like a pickup basketball game where nobody played defense, nobody cared. Don't touch me. I don't want to get hurt. So that's where we are there. 3-point shooting contest. How about Damian Lillard? Damian Lillard coming off ruptured Achilles tendon, standing out there drilling threes, beating Devin Booker, the Phoenix Suns. That's pretty good. He's a good guy. Bad situation playing for the Trailblazers. Got traded, came back. So he'll be returning next season. Slam dunk. Now, you who likes French pastry, did you like Keishad Johnson's entrance, dancing, jiving, all that? Or did you like his slam dunks? I will tell you, the one dunk where he bounced past himself, a shot in the paint, went up, slam dunked the alley-oop bounce pass through.
Yeah.
Pretty athletic, pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that guy could jump through the roof. I mean, Keishad, I'm so happy for him. He's, he didn't have an easy childhood. No. So you like to see him have some success. And
it was interesting in a post-game interview, they asked him about style and the shots he was making and the one bounce pass, alley-oop, slam dunk. He said, it's art and it's my flavor.
It's hella good. I mean, you see that the first one he did where, he jumped over, the rapper from Oakland and he had his hand behind his back and a big smile. And I'm like, you go, Keishad. And I mean, the dancing just made it fun. And like Giannis was loving Keishad the whole time. So I'm really happy for him. But, really the other young man from the Spurs was really good too. Yep. And he kind of gulped a bit at the end. But Keishad flat out deserved this. And I'm just thrilled for him.
It's too bad that Mac McClung, the three-time champion, the guard, didn't participate this time.
Yeah, but is Mac McClung still like banished to the G League? I don't even know.
Well, he's in and out of 10-day contracts,
and so is Keishad, by the way. And I don't really care about the NBA basketball All-Star game. I mean, I like watching the baseball All-Star game, but the Pro Bowl and the NBA All-Star, I don't care. But
they missed the boat though. 3-point shooters. Why is there not NBA, WNBA? Why not capitalize on the greatness of the WNBA and let Caitlin Clark and these other stars from the Women's League go head-on-head 3-point shot?
Yeah, that's like a no-brainer decision right there to promote both leagues. And how about, Dame winning the 3-point shot wearing long pants? Like, remember Larry Bird did that back in the 80s. And so I like seeing that. I mean, the 3-point contest and the slam dunk have come over from the ABA. Mm-hmm. Have you? Well, there's a new series. It's on Amazon Prime about the ABA. I got to check it out.
Okay. So that's where we are there. In terms of the commissioner, you want me to throw cold water on everything this All-Star weekend? They got so many problems, John. I mean, it is unbelievable. First of all, the state of the game sucks. Nobody plays defense. The schedule's too long. There's too many injuries. The players are running the league. That's a problem. The State of the League address was all about tanking. There are 10 teams right now that just appear to not try to win so they can get one of the top 5 draft picks. And Adam Silver admitted that tanking is not fair to the fans. It's not fair to our media partners. It's not fair to our integrity. But how do you control it? There was an incident this past week where Utah had a lead in the game and sat all their starters for the entire fourth quarter so they could lose the game. And Utah is in the running for the top pick in the draft. And there are 10 different teams that people are pointing fingers at that are saying these guys are intentionally tanking. I don't know how you control it. They fined Utah $500,000 on Friday, right before the All-Star festivities started. Adam Silver's talking about we're going to take the weighted lottery away. Maybe that's one way to do it, because the teams with the worst records get the most chances to win that lottery pick. Doesn't always work out that way, but he's saying maybe we'll take all the teams that don't make the playoffs. They all got one ball, and that's it. I don't know how you control tanking. In terms of the LA Clippers probe for salary cap circumvention, he totally denies that the league is sweeping this thing under the rug. Well, it's been half a season now. You've had months upon months of this legal firm investigating all the stuff, and nothing's come out about whether the Clippers intentionally, with Kawhi Leonard, tried to circumvent the salary cap. Expansion, he says the owners meet in March. They will actually talk about expansion, price tag of expansion, and cities they would consider for expansion. So that conversation starts in March. He says there will be no franchise relocation. They're not moving anybody into an expansion city. Silver has talked extensively about NBA Europe. Do we really need an NBA European League? We're already getting all the great players out of Europe, but he says their goal is to have NBA Europe start in 12 European cities next November. So that's where we are there. All things NBA. I want to see next February, when you and I are doing this podcast, I want to see Team USA versus Team World. Just let the stars play a full game. I think that would really be good. And I want to see the WNBA three-point shooters against the NBA three-point shooters in that competition.
Yeah, I'm with you on the three-point shot. I don't really care about the game itself. But there was a lot of very interesting comments. This whole thing about, tanking. I mean, it's terrible for fans. You want to bring your kid to the game and you want to go see the stars and, oh, it's load management day, or, hey, we're taking the night off on the fourth quarter. You know who wants to see integrity restored to the NBA? Or the sports bettors, so they can more accurately understand these teams. Yeah, so go back. I don't have a problem with going back to the, just give everybody one ping pong ball, and maybe one of them might be a colder temperature than the others. Maybe that's the one for the Knicks. So, and what are the other things you were talking about? The
the weighted lottery.
Yeah.
The Clippers.
Yeah.
The probe of the salary cap circumvention. NBA Europe.
Oh, the NBA Europe. That's what I wanted to comment on. Now imagine this. Imagine that you, let's just say, turn NBA Europe into the equivalent of relegation like they have in the Premier League. So teams could move up or move down. What do you think of that idea? So it would almost be like adding NBA Europe and the G League and combining them, and then giving those teams opportunities to move up into the NBA. And so other teams that lose all the time might get bumped down.
They were not going to take a European team and put it in the NBA, but they are going to have relegation. They're going to take 8 teams from the Euro League that currently exists, the Real Madrids and the Barcelonas and all that.
Yeah.
They're going to be the 8 foundation teams, and they're going to have 4 other cities that will have franchises that will compete, and they will compete to try to stay in the league. There will be relegation of a couple teams every year in NBA Europe.
Okay. And I like that idea. And that's another way that they could prevent teams from tanking, because no one wants to get relegated.
Yeah, but you can't do that in the NBA. That's too radical.
It is pretty radical. So Adam Silver's got a lot of things to solve here, but to your point, yeah, they don't play defense. The first half of the NBA season doesn't really matter much. We're kind of in the second half now. We're kind of paying closer attention.
So you agree he's got a lot of problems?
A lot of problems. And I think these are things he's got to resolve with the players union, because they don't address it. I mean, this sport, do you think it could erode?
I think it is eroding right now.
Because baseball's rising. Football is always rising. Kind of be interesting to see how the NBA is doing relative to those other two.
You're a basketball fan. How much trouble is the NBA in for all the things that we have just mentioned? Fans Forum chat box is open for business. We are at halftime. Our Monday bonus podcast is underway. We're covering a ton of topics on the table. This podcast brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. Been in business for more than 100 years. Regardless of what you want to do, whether it's home renovation, new doors, new windows, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer when it comes to getting tools, power saws, etc., think DIXIELINE. Go to DIXIELINE.com to see all the things they have to offer. What impresses you most about DIXIELINE?
What's cool is that, DIXIELINE always has really good deals on stuff. You gotta find the right opportunity. But if you go onto the website, go to DIXIELINE.com, and in the promotion section, you're going to see that there's a monthly flyer that kind of lists all the deals, and you can get really hella good rebates and discounts on a lot of these brand name power tools and other kinds of hardware items, doors, windows. You're going to find out what the smoking deals are. And then, by the way, if you are a contractor, that you're doing a large volume of business, DIXIELINE also offers discounts to them so that they can kind of maximize their profit. And DIXIELINE is a good partner for our builders and contracts in town.
DIXIELINE. Just go to DIXIELINE.com to see all the things they have to offer. Okay, a couple of program notes before we go to the second half, because we've got all the topics we're going to talk about, starting with the NFL. Just a reminder, When we're done, we let you join us. Is anybody watching our live stream right now? We let you join us. You can join us in Fans Forum. Your chance to ask a question, get an answer, make a statement, take a shot at him. How does Fans Forum work?
Okay. This is your chance to sound off. You got a comment or question for Hacksaw. Drop your hot take in the live chat on Facebook, X, and YouTube. But tell us where you're hailing from. We want to do a little bit of a roll call. Tell us where you're from, and we'll get your city and state in the line.
You can help us grow this thing a great deal. Give us a thumbs up. Hit the follow button. Give us a 5-star rating. We do this for free. We don't charge you anything, but we're sending out bills now, collecting receipts. You've been following us for 4 years on this award-winning podcast. You can help us grow this thing. Find that follow button, that thumbs up button, and hit it right now. Just a couple of other reminders. If you love sports, you got to read what I wrote about the Padres this morning, my one man's opinion column. It's on the website. The address is right there on the top, leehacksawhamilton.com. Check it out. You get the best 15 minutes in sports. It's all written. You get the one man's opinion column, and I have opinions on everything. Read it every morning. And we want you to join Hacksaw's Insiders Group. You can do that by just filling out in the orange box right on the homepage of my website. Give us your email address. We'll get you on the list. You'll get 2 newsletters a day about the world of sports that John and I send out twice a day. That's for Hacksaw's Insiders Group. We got it covered. We want to hear from you. Thank you for your support. All right, John, let's go to the second half because now we got all things NFL.
I want to fill in your inbox. We want to send you 2 emails a day. Okay, hey, let's talk about the NFL, some coaching changes.
Let's just start at the top because we've gone from filling all the head coaching vacancies now to filling all the coordinators' jobs. I mean, the amount of guys changing teams is just bizarre. Item 1, Raider Nation. Now, you have followed me, and I never hear from any Raider fans that are beefing about what I've had to say, so you must agree with everything I have to say. But I will tell you, the Raiders have this miserable record since 2002, and so many head coaches hired, fired, etc. John, do you know this? The Raiders, as of this morning, owe a $105 million to fired coaches.
Wow.
That Mark Davis has hired and dismissed. It's absolutely stunning.
Commitment to excellence.
Commitment to pay guys that you made mistakes on. John Gruden, Josh McDaniels, Pete Carroll, whole bunch of the assistant coaches on those staffs, plus the new staff he just hired with Clint Kubiak. Raider Nation, a disaster. Raiders have just hired longtime NFL coach Mike McCoy, ex-Charger head coach. He is going in as assistant head coach to Kubiak and quarterback coach. I like Mike McCoy. Got along well with him here when he was coach of the Chargers, although it was not a good situation. Nonetheless, this guy has moved around and had success tutoring young quarterbacks. And that's what they're going to have with the Raiders, will be a quarterback with the number 1 pick. So Mike McCoy gets hired there. They've also just hired Andrew Janako. He is the new offensive coordinator under Kubiak. He was the quarterback coach with the Seattle Seahawks. Raiders have hired a whole bunch of guys out that Seattle staff. But how about that? How about that stat? The Raiders owe $105 million to all the coaches that Mark Davis has hired and fired. Absolutely stunning. Buffalo, unique hire. Joe Brady is the new head coach there, and they've torn that coaching staff apart. Buffalo has just hired longtime NFL coach John Fox.
Oh, yeah.
He's been hired as a consultant to the entire coaching staff. And, of course, John was former head coach lots of different places, been out of the NFL a little bit for a couple of years, former Aztecs. So that's really an interesting hire there. Miami, house cleaning has begun. In the early morning hours today, the Miami Dolphins ate the contract on Tyreek Hill. They wound up getting rid of 2 relievers, defensive end linebacker Brad Chubb, who was on a big contract, as well as one of the top-paid offensive linemen. That new group from Green Bay, led by John Eric Sullivan, the general manager, they've come in there with a broom. They've yet to make a decision on Tua Tagovailoa, but the reports around the National Football League is they can't trade him. Nobody wants him. Too high a contract. They can't release him. He's got a $99 million cap hit. if they were to release Tua. But they got rid of Tyreek. I mean, and that guy was a great player. But that guy's got so many problems. And now he's in court being sued by his ex-wife for 8 incidents of domestic abuse. He might not ever play again in the National Football League. He's definitely not going to play in Miami. Philadelphia Eagles. A lot of things revolving around Philadelphia. One has to do, obviously, with the change in offensive coordinator. They're going to bring in new people. They're trying to work with Jalen Hurts. Team underachieved. The other thing is AJ Brown is evidently going to be put on the trade block. And that is a superstar wide receiver. But you take AJ Brown, you're going to take his baggage and his persona and his whininess. But evidently, Philadelphia is going to take trade offers, and they're going to get a bonanza of draft picks, I think. Somebody else is going to take on A.J. Brown. I have a hard time believing, as big as a complainer as he is, and distraction as he could be, you're going to get rid of a guy who had 119 receptions?
Package deal with Tyreek.
Yeah, holy cow. So that's a big story out of Philadelphia. A.J. Brown is going to be moved. And Washington says they are releasing and eating a $12 million contract. They're going to get rid of Deebo Samuel. He was a distraction. You talk about somebody whose career's kind of really gone downhill since his days in San Francisco. So he goes to Washington, and they're looking to get rid of him. So, John, that's what's going on in the NFL Notebook. Go ahead, start with the Raiders. I can't believe. When I was doing Sports Talk Radio, if I ever said anything negative about the Raiders, and we never get anybody in fans forum in the chat box. You know, it must be those guys in jail. They must not have any free time in early afternoon on Mondays and Thursdays to watch the podcast. So that's why they're not on fans forum. Do you believe there's nobody on the representing the Raiders who wants to take me on whenever I put all this stuff out?
Man, back in the 90s, it was, you just lit up Razor Nation, you know, out of jail and out on bail and, you know, all of it. But it's great. I love the rivalry and everything. And you were good, you know, smack talking those guys. What the hell, John Gruden? Okay. Now, he wasn't it a 10-year, $100 million deal? But that was like a long time ago, wasn't it?
2002-ish.
So did he get suspended, and then did they put a freeze on that contract? And they reinstated him, and now he's getting paid, or was it deferred?
The compilation, the $105 million, is just a compilation of all the money that the Raiders continue to pay people. So he's still on some type of deferred money.
So, because we're going beyond a 10-year deal.
Yes.
You know, so, yeah, but, you know, Mark Davis is trying. He's just pushing the wrong buttons.
All the time.
Yeah.
Holy cow. $105 million to coaches who are no longer there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, wow. What was the other guy's name that was there last time? It was Antonio
Pierce.
Yeah, Antonio
He's
Pierce.
part of that mix, too.
He's getting paid as well.
He's paying 4 head coaches that aren't coaching.
Someone call Tom Flores. He needs a paycheck.
Oh, my goodness. So what do you think about what's gone on in Miami with Tyreek?
You know, I saw one of the video clips of when he got pulled over by the cops. I think it was the one where he was in the parking lot at the stadium.
Right.
And yeah, he's got issues to resolve. I mean, that is a lot of baggage, you know, walking in the door if you take him on your team. But I think part of the reason, you know, who's the receiver you were just talking about with the Commanders? Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, and A.J. Brown.
But it's all kind of the same thing, right? I mean, these guys are a little bit malcontent. They got a lot to say. I mean, they're not always as polite as they should be. Yeah, I mean, these wide receivers are, it's like Mariah Carey, man. And they're all divas.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, that's all things NFL. Feel free. Anybody who's a Raider fan is not in jail, feel free. Jonas Fans Forum chat box is open for business. We go from that last group of topics on the table, or talking hockey.
Hockey. We got some bad news for the LA Kings.
Yeah, this is terrible. And this is a byproduct of what happens in international play. Guys can get hurt, and the Kings have lost one of their leading scorers. Kevin Fiala got hammered by Tom Wilson of the Washington Capitals in a game. Fiala plays for Switzerland. Suffered compound fractures in his leg, emergency surgery in Italy. Gone for the year. This guy had 18 goals and 40 points for the LA Kings. He was kind of carrying them offensively. So I guess to a degree, boy, the Kings are lucky they made the trade to get Artemi Panarin from the New York Rangers, goal scorer, because now they've lost Fiala. Pretty significant injury, and he has not been allowed to fly home yet. That's a big story. End of this coming week, the seedings are done as of tonight we will know who's going to play who in the knockout games on the men's side in the Olympics in hockey. Canada is seeded 1. They're 3-0. U.S. is seeded 2. They're 3-0. We're waiting for the rest of the seedings. So Canada and U.S. will be in opposite brackets. And if they can survive the knockout games, they're going to face each other next weekend in the gold medal game. And that will be great to see. And that's probably going to be a war.
It's going to be awesome. I mean, I hope it gets to that. I mean, I don't want to see Latvia or someone upset them. But, you know, you got to feel for Kings fans. I mean, everyone, we always talk about this in baseball, with the World Baseball Classic. You get injured and your season's ruined for an exhibition, right? It doesn't matter. But I know it's all part of the sport, you know. Yep. It's unfortunate. But I want to ask you this, Lee. You know, the hockey's been great. I mean, some of the artistry on the ice has been fantastic. I mean, it's a whole different thing getting these big time players together. But are you paying attention to all the sports? I mean, what other sports are you enjoying?
I like some of the slalom skiing.
Mm-hmm.
I like the ski jumps. Obviously, I paid attention to a whole series of the individual ice skating events because that's artistry.
Oh, for sure.
More than there's anything else. So, yeah, I haven't sat there for 8 hours to watch every event, but I've just tuned in certain times when I knew certain events were going to be on because I wanted to see how the American athletes were going to do. And then, obviously, I love to see the speed skating. I love the guys from Norway are just from another galaxy.
Yeah, it's funny how Norway, you know, which you don't really think of as an athletic powerhouse, but
well,
man, this
that sport, yeah,
this is their day, and a lot of these sports,
exactly.
You know, the bobsledding and everything else. I love the Winter Olympics. Frankly, I think I like them more than the Summer Olympics. You know, and you know what I'm really loving, and it's just amazing. Curling is kind of cool. You know, it's like watching shuffleboard. You know, it's the leisurely, you know, while you sip on a cocktail kind of a sport to watch.
And now the Canadians are cheating on curling by touching the stone twice. Got that both on the men and the women's side.
Yeah, I mean, just the controversy around curling is unbelievable. But this is a great time. And by the way, the speed skating, I loved it when they had that short track version. I mean, they started that yet?
Yep.
You know, because we had that one American that was really good like 2 cycles ago. Ono, remember his last name was Ono.
Yes.
And that was a really fun sport to watch.
Well, he's been replaced by another kid by the name of Jordan Stoltz, who's setting 2 world records already.
Right on, man.
In speed events. Okay, you're into that. You're a hockey fan. Hockey Hotline is open. The O Canada Network. Your invitation, if you're watching in Canada, feel free to jump on board. This is devastating for the Kings to lose Kevin Fiala. Okay, we move on. Let's talk about the Olympics.
Okay, yeah, more Olympics talk. Let's go to the high-speed sports wire.
Let's just start top to bottom and talk about some of these other big stories. We'll obviously start with the Olympic situation. We'll start with Daytona 500 first. Yesterday, I love NASCAR. I love super speedways. I love the history of Daytona. That's not racing. That pack racing, that's not racing. Where they run in a pack until somebody gets sideways and wipes out everybody behind them. I don't know what NASCAR is going to do because the Daytona 500 is now no longer what the Daytona 500 was because guys can't pass. We had the finish yesterday was like bumper car. It was like a demolition derby. It just, I thought it was terrible. And at the end of the day, Tyler Reddick came from 3rd to 1st on the final turn by bumping guys and knocking them out, triggering a 6-car crash right before the finish line. Prior to that, Denny Hamlin grinded a guy, rubbed him, caused a 20-car wreck that wiped out half the field. So I know what NASCAR is going to do as it relates to the 500. These guys going 185 miles an hour, bumper to bumper. The dirty air is unbelievable. Cars are bouncing. And the minute somebody gets sideways, everybody else gets taken out behind them. There's no place to go. It's like an accordion effect.
Yeah.
So that's a big issue there. I felt bad for Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace is an African-American. He's really been the flag carrier for the greatness of a black driver, and he runs for one of Michael Jordan's teams. But he led for 40 laps. So he was running away. But because of fuel stops and the wind was so violent across the track in Daytona, their fuel stops got out of sync, and he wound up making a fuel stop after leading for 40 laps. I didn't think anybody was going to catch him. He never caught up again. So Bubba Wallace took a bad break. Chase Elliott got rubbed to the wall. He was supposed to win the race right at the end, got tapped into the wall, triggered that 6-car crash right at the end. It was cool, though, because Tyler Reddick runs for Michael Jordan, Team 23X. They won. Michael Jordan gets his first Daytona 500
for
win.
him.
Yeah, really kind of interesting. So we got that. Formula One, drama. You like French pastry? I got to cover the drama. Formula One. So 3 days of testing at Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, before they get ready to start the season in Australia. And the big thing is who's running the hottest laps, newly configured cars. Everybody's bitching. So Max Verstappen, who did not have a good week in Bahrain, he meets with the media and he constantly is barking about something. And he says, these cars are no longer fun to drive. We're spending more time worrying about fuel and aerodynamics rather than racing on the edge. So Lando Norris, the reigning points champion who beat Verstappen at the end of last season, Lando Norris says, Max, if you don't want to race according to the regulations, why don't you just leave the sport and go do something else? People are tired of Verstappen's philosophy on anything and everything. But Formula One's got some problems because brand new car, brand new aerodynamics, hybrid operation between power and electronics batteries. The drivers are having to manage that. It's changed a whole bunch of the racing. Drivers are not really happy with the new cars that they're having to drive out there. The Olympics, Lindsey Vonn was slated to fly home very late last night. Have not received word whether she's landed in Florida. She had 4 surgeries in 6 days. The belief that she has 3 more surgeries coming because of the fractures of the leg. The International Olympic Court of Arbitration catch an unbelievable heat. They rejected the appeals of the Ukraine sledder who was barred 45 minutes before he was supposed to go down that slope because he wanted to wear the helmet that had the pictures of the 20 Ukraine Olympians killed fighting the Russians. He was expelled. He appealed through the proper channels. The Court of Arbitration said, no, you can't make political statements. On the ice, we talked about the next great speed skater. Jordan Stoltz wins a 2nd gold medal, this in the men's 500, after winning the men's 1,000 world record. Really stunning. The Virginia skater, Eli Malinin, who won a gold early, was supposed to win the gold in the men's freestyle, fell twice.
Quad God. Went down twice and admitted, he held a press conference this morning, admitted he had no scope of what the pressure would be like on him. And he said he could not think and he could not compete and he could not execute because he just felt whoosh, the pressure. I understand.
He's only 21, first time ever in the Olympics.
Yeah.
He was brilliant, including a backward flip, but he fell badly in his final exhibit. He wound up finishing 8th in points. He'll be back at age 25. Michaela Schifrin, she has not won a medal in the last 3 Olympics. It's hard to believe, as great as she is, U.S. skier, she finished 11th. And you talked about Norway. Johannes Klebo won his 4th gold this week. He's won 9 gold medals. This is the world's greatest long-distance skier. Every type of event.
Those guys are a different breed.
Yeah, they really are cut from a different cloth.
Yeah.
So the Olympics has really, really been fun to see. And the last topic on the table, they got a problem coming here. There's going to be a fork in the road, and I don't know how they're going to handle this. SDFC, Chucky Lozano, he wants to stay. They don't want him back. They've allowed him to train at their facility out in the East County while the team is practicing. He's not part of the team, trains on his own. The window to move him to a team in Mexico or a team in Europe closed. Nobody wants him. And the problem is that SDFC is on the hook for a total of $23 million for what they paid the Dutch team to get him and what they paid him last year and the fact they owe him 20 more million still in the contract. And he's still at the practice facility and he's made comments, I want to be on this team. I'm staying on this team. They're going to have to ask him to leave. They have to get a police escort to take him off their campus because they don't want him. He doesn't fit their culture at all. And now they've found they can't find anybody who's willing to take him on. I've been told that Lozano was involved in 4 different incidents, not just the locker room halftime explosion. There have been at least 3 other situations. So I don't know what they're going to do except call the sheriff's department and actually take him off the campus because he won't leave. It's an amazing story. So, John, go ahead. Start with NASCAR if you wish. Go. You lecture Max Verstappen. Talk all things Olympics, and we'll talk about Chucky.
Okay, let's talk about the Daytona 500. Now, first of all, I loved seeing MJ out there with the trophy. And I'm just thinking how he's got to be in his 60s, right? Maybe early 60s. So, everything that dude's been through, I mean, obviously the superstar in basketball, but, with all the gambling allegations, the father's death, baseball, he's been through a lot.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see him back at the top. Now, help me out and understand this. There was just that lawsuit.
The antitrust lawsuit.
So when MJ's team 23X won the Daytona 500, do they get all the prize money?
Oh, yes.
Or are they limited because they aren't chartered?
No, they are chartered now because the outcome of the settlement was everybody's chartered.
Okay.
The Denny Hamlin team is chartered. 23X team is chartered.
Okay.
Front Row Sports is chartered.
But if they weren't chartered, they wouldn't even been allowed in the race, right?
No, they would have been allowed because they qualified, but they would not have gotten the full benefit. But because of the antitrust settlement.
Well, thank God that happened. I mean, they fixed it because
well,
that's fair. I mean, it's unfair to prevent that. So, good on MJ. It is weird though that NASCAR puts their Super Bowl at the front of the year rather than at the end of the year.
Tradition. But it's not the same race anymore. That's the thing that bothers me.
Well, it's almost like, F1 racing where it's hard to pass. Now it's hard to pass on a NASCAR track. Yeah, they were 3 wide, going through those turns. And yeah, sometimes they get a little squirrely. It takes out a few cars. But as a fan,
out a few, 20.
Yeah, but as a fan, that's exciting. I mean, for those drivers and those teams, it's devastating. But otherwise, there's not a whole lot of action in some of those races.
And I don't know what they're going to do to change that. It's a big issue. Michael Jordan, finish line, trophy. What's the first thing that comes out of my mouth? He says, my ring size is 13 because you're going to get a Daytona 500 ring.
Beautiful.
It's got a picture of a checkered flag on it. It's really cool.
Good. I mean, and it's cool to see that like a guy that went from one sport to another sport and is having success as an owner. I mean, everything about it is wonderful.
Yeah, make no mistake. He influenced the outcome of that antitrust lawsuit.
Yeah, I love hearing that.
So that's where we are. You want to talk about the Olympic skaters? You want to talk about Vaughn? You want to talk about Chucky?
The Chucky deal is weird. It feels a little bit like that Nick Castellanos thing where they want him out of town. I can't imagine after everything Mikey Veras has said that he would turn tail and take Chucky back because they can't move him somewhere else. I think they're going to have to just like eat it. And I don't know what the financial resources are of the ownership.
Well, it's owned by this European consortium that owns other soccer clubs, other soccer academies in Europe. That's the concept of why SDFC is here. Well, they have the money, I think, to swallow it, but they can't get him off the campus.
Someone call Manny Machado, man. He'll take care of it. He's one of the owners.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a strange deal. And
it is.
And San Diego FC, by the way, man, they advanced in that tournament. They're going to go to the quarterfinals?
Yeah, against Toluca.
Yeah, right on. So good for them. I love seeing soccer in San Diego.
Okay. Those are hot topics on the table because we do sports talk the way it should be done. We tell you what's happening. We invite you to join us. I don't think we've ever had a day where we've had as many breaking stories as we've had today. This podcast brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. Been in business for more than 100 years. You like to do projects at home? You have your own tool section? Hey, go to DIXIELINE.com, see all the things they have to offer you do-it-yourselfers at home, DIXIELINE.com. John, I am ready. I bet there's some people got some opinions too. Here comes Fans Forum.
Fans Forum. Okay, let's go here to Cal and we'll kick it off talking about the NBA All-Star Weekend. He goes, hey, afternoon, gents. Saw the NBA All-Star Weekend is useless. Is there a way to save it? I don't see a clear path forward for the weekend. I don't care how many times you change the format. It sucks.
Well, I didn't like it, but I think there's a way out. I mean, my theory is you've got all these great global players coming from Europe and China. Just make it Team World versus Team USA and put a pot of gold in the middle that you're going to donate to charity. That's feed the poor. That's how I think you'd make the event really special. The NBA doing something for the needy with all these players making $50 million a year. I think that would be a good matchup. And then the second thing, to benefit the guy who loves French pastry, slam dunk's okay. And let's just make the WNBA versus the NBA three-point shooting contest.
Oh, that's brilliant.
There we go. Callum, I just solved it. Okay.
You're going back to the battle of the sexes. Remember that?
Yeah.
Billie Jean King, and who was her foe in that?
Oh, the guy.
Bobby something or other.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Anyways, yeah, the game is crap. I mean, even if they did USA World money to charity, that's still not going to make those guys play defense, so it's still going to be a weird game. That's why I think, you can make it a concert, they had, some entertainment there, big festival, but the game itself, I know it might be, like when they had like the young kids playing like the rookie game.
Right.
Now that would be better.
Rising stars.
Yeah. And the slam dunk contest, I mean, again, props to Keyshawn Johnson for winning that thing. I love him. I'm happy. Former Aztec and a guy that really deserves the accolades. But I wish we'd see more of the stars in this, like we used to have Michael Jordan in the slam dunk. We had Larry Bird in the 3-point. We're getting guys that are like, two-way players. I mean, even Keyshawn was saying he was going to go back to his G League team.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just wish people would take a little more pride in it.
Concur. Oh, good point. That's what I would do. NBA All-Star festivity, NFL Pro Bowl, NHL Hockey All-Star game. Nah. Oh, the only one's got any vibrancy, any credibility, any heritage is Major League Baseball's Midsummer Night's Classic, right?
Well, Four Nations, does that count?
Well, if they continue it in that format. Yes.
Yeah, so that can work. But, we got Team Stars against Team Stripes, or, Team LeBron versus Team Giannis. Yeah. It's just like, come on, guys. You got to, I mean, you can rearrange the chairs on the deck, but in the end, these guys want to have to play and perform rather than feeling like they're just, hanging out with their boys for the afternoon.
Exactly. Okay, next one. Thanks, Callum.
Okay, let's go here to Casey. He goes, hey, good afternoon, guys. In Hacksaw, with the Kings forward Kevin Fiala getting hurt, I think next Olympics, NHL players should not go and go back to the amateurs. Do you think NHL no-go next Olympics?
No, because it's a big marketing tool for global hockey. And the NHL had kept their guys out for a period of time. But there's such a push. And the Four Nations event really sold global hockey's concept all over again. The injury factor's there, but no, not at all. The other intriguing thing is there's no Russians in the Olympic hockey because they're banned because of what's happened with Putin's war against Ukraine. And there's a hell of a lot of really good Russian hockey players, too, that you wish could be part of this, but they're kind of innocent victims over what that dictatorship has done to Ukraine. So, but no, I think because it's all selling the sport globally, and Gary Bettman has really pushed that we needed our guys back. So NHL guys are not coming out of this game, but there is risk involved. Four Nations, the Kachuk brothers got hurt, really badly hurt in the Four Nations tournament, and up until they missed a whole chunk of the season. So that's a big, big issue. And now Fiala, that's a huge blow to the LA Kings, but he was playing for his flag.
Yeah. I mean, this is something I think they can work out. I mean, I always upset me as a kid when the U.S. would send their amateurs in for any one of these, and they were playing essentially a pro team, like, the Russian Red
USSR.
Army.
Yep.
Yeah. Or even like in gymnastics. I mean, these, some of those East German guys, were not only on the juice, but they were like professional. I mean, They were being paid by the government to go out there and perform. So I like seeing the biggest stars on the stage. I just think they need to position this in the right time of the year. And this seems like the right time of the year for hockey, Hey, what's an interesting thought is, what do you think about moving basketball into the Winter Olympic Games? And then you could have, just like hockey, you could have the All-Star game, you know, make it the Olympic game instead. And that would be Team America against Team Australia. It's against Team, you know, Slovenia.
You know, but the issue is that NBA basketball players have played in the summer in the Olympics. You're saying we'll stop the NBA season and just send the global and the NBA stars to go play for their respective flag.
Yeah.
That's novel.
Why not? I mean, if you want to revive these sports, because for the Four Nations has proved that the configuration on nation is what gets people excited. You know, it's not East versus West or American League, National League. It's, you know, nations is what people are going for these days.
Interesting concept.
You know, I mean, criticize your buddy Trump for all the nationalism he's all about, but in sports, it really works.
Okay. Interesting point.
Okay, let's go here to Phenom and, you know, give us some cash. You go to the top of the list. Thank you, Phenom. Hey, I've been a Hacksaw fan for years, but the more I get to know John, I appreciate his contribution to the podcast. By the way, thoughts on Kansas State firing coach?
This is not the first incident of the season where some coach has lost his mind in a post-game press conference. I don't understand the rationale for what that guy did at Kansas State. He just emotionally came apart in a press conference and telling his players, turn your uniforms in, you're not going to be here next year. I mean, it's a bad look. You know, it's on you. You recruited him, you coach him, you teach him, you execute during a game. It's on you. Well, he got fired, and it's going to be an $18 million lawsuit, but they're firing him for cause because he degraded his players, and he was so far over the top in terms of his condemnation. So it's terrible. And these coaches, they got to reel themselves back in. You know, Mick Cronin at UCLA is just beyond himself when he loses. And the stuff that comes out of his mouth about his program and his kids, what the hell are you doing? You put all these players in on this roster, you're teaching them, you're coaching them, or you're not doing the job correctly. So there's a fine line between being a leader and being tough versus just being grossly out of control. And it's happened more and more in the last couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a number of coaches like that have gone way over the line. Yep. And by the way, Phenom, thanks for the love. Appreciate the comment. You know, I was a long-time Hacksaw fan, man. Back in the early days of Extra 690, it was must-listen radio. And for me, you know, this is like 30 years later to be doing a podcast with you. It's just fabulous. So it's just a fun time to talk sports. And I'm glad, you know, Phenom, that you're enjoying it. Thank you.
He's not your brother-in-law, is he?
I know, really. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's go here to Music to My Ears. Thank you again for the donation. Hey, why would there be an MLB lockout next year when MLB revenue growth, attendance, sponsorships, etc., have all gone up? Total team sponsorship revenue exceeded $2 billion in 2025. That's a 68% rise since 2022.
Well, the price on player acquisition is through the roof. And you've only got a select group of few teams that are willing to spend mega money and pay the luxury tax. You know, as of this morning, the Dodger payroll is $403 million. The Miami payroll is $78. And like half of baseball, their payrolls are under $120 million. So you've got the Dodgers, the Mets, you got the Yankees, you got the Red Sox. I think those are the top spenders, and they're kind of clumped together. And you got 19 or 20 teams below a threshold that are taking revenue share money, don't have good products on the field for the most part, and are getting benefits of whatever TV contract money is left in the box and not spending it correctly. So that's why there's probably going to be some form of lockout because the owners say we want a cap and we want a floor to spending. And you've got the NFL, tremendously successful competitive balance. NBA, NHL, kind of the same. All three of these key leagues have caps and a floor. Now, they're all a little bit different. So what baseball should do is adopt the hard cap and creatively come up with one of the floors and say, we want to use this. And everybody has to spend up. And the minute you spend up, good players are going to wind up in Miami and in Tampa and in Pittsburgh because that's where the payday will be. It can't all be Juan Soto, but there'll be good paydays for them, which then makes all those other teams better. It makes sense to me, but, you know, the word salary cap is, oh, my God, the union says we can't have that. Well, it's working. It's working really well in all the other sports, especially the National Football League. So that's why there's going to be a work stoppage till they can come up with a better spending system, forcing the owners to have to spend more because they're getting all the benefits, as you would say, of the $2 billion that are coming in the front door in revenue.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the players, Manny Machado was commenting on this, how other teams have the ability to spend more, but they don't. But let me ask you this, as part of a negotiating strategy with the new CBA and everything else, do you think the idea of a guaranteed contract would ever go away? Because that is a feather in the hat for the players to get like you, Darvish, you got like 7-year, guaranteed deal. And if you get hurt or your performance tails off, they can't let you go like in the NFL. You got to get paid.
I think there's so many levels and layers that they're going to have to negotiate through. It's going to take forever. It's going to take the entire season. They say the talks may start in May. It's going to progress right till the contract, the CBA, expires December 1st. But, the layers are guaranteed. Layers are deferrals. Layers are signing bonus. Layers are, how do you equate all those different things to come up with an average yearly figure that goes against a cap, against a luxury tax? It's very complicated, and then the union will ask for more guaranteed roster spots, which is more money to union clienteles, which is good for the game. So it's very complicated.
And then you got all the different TV deals, and that's part of this, right. Because the fact that they can't figure out a way to, solve the demise of the regional sports networks, and at the same time finding some equilibrium with the Dodgers and the Mets and what they're getting in TV. I mean, in the end, these are things that hamstring teams.
Exactly. There's 15 teams that have given up their rights and turned it over to MLB. The Padres were the absolute first. That's at least 15 teams that were getting $60 million are now getting either 30 or 40 million rather than 60. That's a big loss annually of revenue coming in the door. So how do you make up that lost revenue? Well, MLB is going to try with a streaming service, but they're going to ask the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Mets and the Red Sox and the Cubs, who have their big regional networks at work, they're going to ask them for a bigger tax. You pay more, the Dodgers, from your TV contract. It goes into this pool, while all the other money goes into the pool for TV money that's distributed to everybody. It's again, there's got to be some give from the big boys to help everybody else.
We remember last time when they did strike in the early 90s?
94, I think it was.
Yeah, that was the year Gwynn was on track to hopefully hit 400. It's interesting that the sport took a big dip in a popularity.
Oh,
right?
People were so pissed they stopped the season and they canceled the World Series.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's like sacrilege to, American baseball fans. So the point is that you don't want to kill the golden goose here. You don't want to take that time out. I mean, we're already talking about how the NBA is eroding. If let's just say that there was a lockout, the Major League Baseball would erode. We might see Major League Soccer rise up. Maybe, what do you think? I mean, do you think the balance of power could shift?
Common sense dictates we're going to spend the whole baseball season covering the games, pennant races, and all that. But we're also going to spend a lot of time paying attention to what's being said and written about the behind the closed doors CBA talks between the union and owners. They have all baseball season to figure a deal out. The deal ends December 1st. They could announce December 1st lockout. That does not mean there's no 2027. That just means now we're on the clock. You got December, January, February, final 3 months of the quote off season to solve this before a lockout really takes effect, where there is no Cactus League and there is no Grapefruit Circuit. Then that becomes a deterrent, because it becomes damaging if you're not going to start the baseball season. So they've got a chunk of time starting in May through next February, figure a way to share the profits without killing it.
Get her done.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you for the donation.
Okay, let's go here to Richard. Fans Forum, he goes, hey, as good as AJ is, He has destroyed their farm system, ruined roster flexibility, unrealistic contracts. Instead of trying to beat the evil empire, you should have sold the farm system, or you could have sold the farm system.
Well, that's his currency. That's the way he's done business. But you can't argue with the reality that he's made Padre baseball vibrant, relevant. He's responsible for all things Petco Park, sellouts, record revenue, because the product he's put together as a guy building a roster. Now, he does it differently than a bunch of other people do. End of the day, though, I use the phrase credit card bill always comes due. At the end of the day, all these 10 and 14-year contracts towards the end are going to come back and haunt you and bite you. So they got a window. They've done as much as they can humanly do. Their payroll now, as of today's transaction with Ty France, their payroll is probably going to be 28 million, which is more than last year. But there's no way they can go higher. If Darvish gives them the 14 million back, that'll give them breathing room to do something creative now. But the long-term contracts they were great. That's the cornerstone foundation of your team, but it's an albatross around your neck going forward down road. Correct?
Yeah. Well, to a degree. I mean, I think in today's marketplace, you could look at Tatis's contract and even Cronenworth's, and you could pencil those out, that you're getting enough WAR in return, to justify that. I mean, let me ask you this about AJ, because I like AJ. I like the swashbuckling, willing to take big risks, and having a lot of chips on the table. And overall, I believe his positive deals, trades, signings are way more than the ones that have gone south. But of the ones that went south, which is the one that you would point your finger at, whether it's a trade or a free agent contract, you said, I would do that one differently next time?
Well, obviously, he traded Mackenzie Gore, he traded C.J. Abrams, and he traded James Wood. And those are three young stars. They're in Washington. Now, Washington's not winning, but that's an organizational failure because they've never put other players around the three kids that they got. You could look and say, geez, they paid a hell of a price, for Soto. Then they made the second Soto trade, and then they made the Dylan Cease trade, and Cease is now gone. But the guy that got in the Cease deal that was supposed to be the next star pitcher, Drew Tharp, has re-injured his elbow again. So 6 of one, half dozen of another. He's made so many transactions. I tried to make a list of all the deals he's made, and I got to like the 20th transaction, and I just kind of lost my mind. I can't keep track of all this.
I remember when he first came on the scene, and we had heard the rumor of that Matt Kemp deal. Okay, and then suddenly, they're made the deal for the Will Myers, and they had a lot. Who was there? They had a catcher that they got from the A's. Can't remember his name, but he looked like one of the guys from Lord of the Rings, like one of the dwarves. But they got a lot of really good guys there right out of the gate. That didn't go well, but I just was excited that the Padres were relevant. The Padres were in there wheeling and dealing, and they were coming from such a big deficit credibility-wise that they almost had to take a gamble on Hosmer or on Matt Kemp, just to prove to the players that, this is real.
Oh, the guys were taking paydays. That's why Machado came here.
Well, yeah.
If somebody had offered Machado $33 million on the moon, he would have gone to planet Mars.
Well, yeah. I wouldn't blame him for it.
But end of the day, owners let him do it. End result, product pretty good.
Yeah.
Piece of reality, window to get to the World Series is about like this.
You were a doomsdayer, No,
I'm just telling the truth.
No, no. They've been a playoff team the last 2 years, won 90 games 2 years in a row, and right now this opening day roster looks better.
It looks complete
than what they started with 12 months ago. So I'm always optimistic when it comes to the Padres, especially in the spring. But seriously, this is a team that I think, there's a lot of things that could really go their way.
Yep.
Imagine if Tatis becomes a fraction of what he was before the suspension. Boy, I mean, that would just light up San Diego.
Like I said, he was at 7-Eleven. I saw him on the other aisle. He's buying lottery tickets. Maybe some of these lottery tickets he just bought this weekend for Castellanos and Ty France and the two pitchers, maybe hits a jackpot with one or two of those guys. So I'm not down on AJ, but I do like to say, well, alternative way of doing this is a certain way. And we haven't gotten there. That's the thing. We haven't gotten to the World Series. We had a window, and the window's like this. It's close enough.
Yeah. Just don't count them out yet, man. We just got Nick Castellanos, man. The sky's the limit. Okay, I'm joking here. Let's go here to Chris talking some Dodger ball. Hey, sure, the Dodgers got Tucker, the most coveted free agent, as well as the game's premier closer. They sure have perhaps the most talented rotation ever assembled. However, I guarantee you Andrew Friedman has had many sleepless nights praying Preller wouldn't be able to sign Griff Canning and Herman Marquez. Castellanos is the cherry on top, and now is Friedman in an absolute panic, knowing the Dodgers can now only hope for a wild card.
Oh, Padre fan, how can I address this? End of the day, the Dodgers are doing what the Dodgers have the ability to do. It's not illegal yet. Maybe the structure will change. If they put a luxury tax or a hard salary cap in, then there will be hard decisions to be made as it relates to the Dodgers. But it's interesting. Rob Manfred said, great baseball franchises are good for the game. Making reference to the Dodgers without saying the Dodgers. Great baseball franchises like the era I grew up, the Yankees, were good for the game. You may hate them, but you want to go watch them when they play your favorite team.
Definitely, yeah.
So this is the structure we have. We'll see as we get to December 1st, with the end of the CBA, whether that's the structure we're going to have, whether it's hard cap, salary cap, adjusted luxury taxes. It'll be intriguing to see how they come, but there'll be a lot of hard negotiating, a lot of threats between there and now. And Dodger fan will be surely throwing hand grenades at Padre fan.
I just love the rivalry.
Yeah.
The rivalry's fun, and yeah, I mean, you just can't compare the Padres and the Dodgers. I mean, they're playing with a totally different deck of cards. I mean, it's just completely different. So I just hope that, the Padres can be relevant and they can be competitive and maybe knock off the Dodgers. It's good to have a villain. Because I remember that in the 70s when the evil empire and the Yankees were going, they were the evil empire. They were the villain. And so it's good to have a villain, but it's just the damn Dodgers. They're just they wear the Dodger, white uniform. They come in like riding a white horse. They're always like the good guys with good character, with big smiles on their self, and they're, having the Hollywood swings. I can only take so much of it.
Chris is just heaving hand grenades towards Padre fans. You're going to take that? Hey, thanks for being with us. Go ahead, John.
Okay, we'll go to Nathan. Hey, I'm with Manny and John. AJ is the man. Look at all the great work he does and with what he has. I think it's awesome. Let's go Padres.
Tell you why, he's convinced me, because I didn't buy all the stuff early on when he was doing what he was doing. And, I'm in that clubhouse a lot. And so I deal with these players as a working member of the media. And my observations is guys were not really positive. And then these guys failed, and then he got rid of them, and he kept trading future pieces, farm system talent, to go get other pieces, veteran players, and so be it. So yeah, at the end of the day, he's got two minor league stars on his team. Nobody else. He's got Jackson Merrill and Morion. Those are guys they drafted and developed. I don't count Tatis because he came from the White Sox.
Yeah.
He's got two. That the whole farm system has brought us two players.
Yeah, but you got Tatis when he was still playing rookie ball. I mean, that's almost like a draft pick, So, but that's always been his deal. He always said, I just want to acquire assets. And I always thought that was a great strategy. It was like a guy at a poker table. Just give me more chips and I can wheel and I can deal. And that's the only way you're going to get like some sort of a inflection point leap forward.
Well, he's
if you flip things.
He's changed my attitude, my mind, because he just continues to execute. And like I say, one of my favorite phrases, he's got boots on the ground everywhere. He knows where players are and how to get them. Now, he may overpay for every draft pick he's ever picked or any international free agent. He just really overpays. And sometimes he keeps them and sometimes he uses them as an bargaining chip. But I'm pleased. I mean, the thing is relevant. The thing is really important to our community.
Sometimes he overpays, but he still gives them the opt out, like the Nick Pivetta deal. Yeah, we'll pay you big in year 3 and 4, but he has full intention. He's going to try to trade him.
Mhm.
So he's just a creative guy. He's just, it's not Moneyball, but he has a strategy.
It is his version of Moneyball.
Yeah, it is.
Interesting. Thank you.
Okay, now listen to Larry here. Minor league team in a minor league city. San Diego is a joke.
Oh, I'm not so sure. They were second in attendance, the all-time record league revenue. I wouldn't say joke. Last 4 or 5 years, it's really been special. I don't know where are you joining us from? Geez, if you want any credibility to go with your criticism, you need to tell us where you're sending us that message from, correct?
I'd say 80% chance that's a Dodger fan right there.
It's okay.
Maybe a Laker fan, but probably a Dodger fan. We have a San Diego sports curse. I mean, it's real. I mean, it's not just that the Padres have never won, the Chargers never won, the Clippers never won. I mean, if it wasn't for our indoor soccer league team, we'd have no championships here unless you have to go back to 1963 in the AFL.
Yeah. I
mean, so Sports Illustrated will do that article every so many years. So the worst cursed cities in sports. And it used to always be Cleveland, but then LeBron finally won him a championship.
Yep. So, yeah, there's some franchises right now that just have no hope at all because of ownership. You imagine being a Colorado Rockies fan with that ownership and their inactivity with the last place terrible team. I mean, the White Sox have been hard for a group of years with one of the rich owners in baseball that doesn't spend.
Yeah, but it just goes to show you that certain organizations, they're just they can't do it. I mean, it's just like, we saw that with the Raiders right now. They've been crappy for, 2 decades. And, it doesn't matter what pick they have in the draft. They just always make the wrong choice.
Okay, we move on.
Okay, let's talk to Carlos here, some Lakers basketball. Lee, you are always so negative on the Lakers. They will be in great spot this offseason. They will have 3 number 1 picks and a whole lot of cap space once LeBron is off the books. Don't forget, they are now owned by the Dodgers' new owner. Time to reset with Luka as the centerpiece. Clips back to irrelevance.
Clippers do have multiple picks, though, and the Clippers are going to have a lot of salary cap space, but they're going to have to sales pitch people to come there to play next to Kawhi. The Lakers obviously have that heritage and legacy, and I agree with you. The Lakers got to keep people healthy. I'd be fascinated to see if they could get to postseason play with a healthy LeBron, a healthy Luka, a healthy Austin Reeves, DeAndre Ayton earning his money, to see how deep they could go into postseason. But they do have a lot of age, and that's a big issue. And we'll see. And I happen to be pro LeBron. I think he's been great for the game. I think he's a great citizen. Is there an ego? Hell yes. That stuff's on every roster in the NBA. I hope he completes his stay here and goes back to Cleveland, completes the circle, finishes with the Cavaliers, because he's sure meant a lot to Cleveland and Akron.
Yeah, I think it's time to turn the page, man. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer, obviously, but he's like LaFlop, man. He just gets a little bump and he like rolls over. He's like Kemba Walker when he got stiffed by the Aztecs in the NCAA tournament 25 years ago.
Oh, I got hurt.
Yeah. It's just like LeBron is always such the drama queen. So I don't know, just, it's good that they have another star to build around with Luka and he's still young. So I think you got to make that move. I mean, will the Lakers make the playoffs this year? I'd say probably.
Did they go more than one and done?
Yeah, I don't think so. Maybe they make the second round, but there's no way in hell they're going to get past, Oklahoma City or San Antonio. Some of these other teams are just too good.
Yep. Okay. Thank you for the input.
Okay. Hey, we got some shout outs from people where they're calling from or texting from. This is Mario from Bakersfield. Phenom is in Austin, Texas. Okay, we got Richard watching live from Devore, California in the high desert.
Now I bet it's snowing up there.
We got Nathan here is from San Diego. Do you love it, baby? Is San Diego, baby. He's in on all this. So good to hear. Thanks for the shout outs on where you're hailing from.
Listen, you people got to do me a favor now, because we just busted on this podcast Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30. We need you to give us a thumbs up. Find that button on that panel. Hit that thumbs up. Give us a follow. Give us this 5-star rating. You can't believe how much that helps us grow this thing. Okay, John, that's the end of my sales pitch. Yes, I do collect receipts from these people sometimes.
You sure know how to promote your show. All right, let's go over here and we'll talk to, who is this? Just here to like the video. Hey, McCoy is going to be a backup coach when the new coach gets fired. Smart thinking ahead, LOL.
Well, Mike McCoy, ex-Charger head coach, really good track record working with quarterbacks. You know, he was, the year he got hired here in San Diego, he was the hottest coordinator out there in the NFL. I mean, they projected he was going to go. He interviewed a lot of places. I was a little amazed because I knew about him. I was amazed he was overwhelmed by the specter of the job. He couldn't handle it. And he inherited Phillip Rivers. He inherited some good people, but it got worse and worse. And they wound up firing, I think, was his record 27-37? I think they finally got rid of him. And he's bounced around. But he did a reputable job in Tennessee this past year with Cam Ward when they fired the head coach and they made him the interim head coach. And they said, put your hands on Cam Ward and fix him. Cam Ward got progressively better and better and better. And before that, he was in Jacksonville in the good years with Trevor Lawrence. So he's moved around. I think he's got a good track record. As a head coach, no. As an offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, yeah. So he goes to the Raiders, and obviously he'll be the right-hand man under Kubiak, and he'll get obviously access to Francisco Mendoza.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, now wasn't McCoy the guy that took over for Norv Turner?
Might have been. Yes.
You know, and then after him, it was Anthony Lynn.
Mm-hmm. That didn't work out at all.
No. And then who was after Anthony Lynn? It was before we got to Harbaugh. Oh, it was Brendan Staley.
Yeah, and that was 3 years of a failure. And again, Staley was like McCoy. Staley was a red-hot defensive coordinator candidate. Everybody wanted to interview Brandon Staley, and the Chargers got him, and job was too big for him.
Yeah, I remember when they got McCoy. He was the hot commodity then. Yeah. Okay, let's go here to Bat Fan. Because all-star games are exhibition games. They don't need to be competitive. Baseball is the only one you can't lay off the gas.
Yeah, but if you're trying to salvage it, if you're trying to make it important, then make it important and do something of value. So therefore, have the USA versus the world and just globalize the game and have these guys play for pride. Now, some of these 10-minute exhibitions, some of those were pretty competitive. Guys heaving shots, making slam dunks, playing a little bit of defense. There are a couple lopsided ones too. I like the idea that I proposed, USA versus the world, because we got so many great global international players now. I think that'd be fun to watch.
So even in baseball, I would rather watch the home run derby than I would the actual MLB All-Star game.
Yeah, but you like French pastry.
But it's exciting and it's fun, you know. So they got to figure it out, but it doesn't necessarily always have to be the game. You know, they can find, like, if they had an old timers like blending, you know, with some of the all-stars together, I think that'd be cool too.
Yeah, I think the problem is there's so much history with the baseball all-star game, Midsummer Night Classic. And again, you may say, oh, old guy. Yeah, I've been following this my whole life. But the all-star game was Reggie Jackson hitting 3 home runs, including one on the roof. Ted Williams, game-winning home runs way back in the day when the all-star game carried a lot of clout and visibility. That's why I think they want this game to continue.
Well, what if you, like, hypothetically said, hey, in the all-star game, Nolan Ryan is going to pitch. We're going to let him pitch like 2 batters. Or we're going to let, you know, Albert Pujols take a swing.
No, I don't. Now you're gimmicking and gadgeting. Now you're no better than the NBA and the junk they're trying.
No, but it's. I mean, they need to do something. I mean, so
I don't think there's anything wrong with the baseball all-star game. I think they still play hard.
No, it's got great relevance. They do flag football or something dumb.
Yeah, please. Do we have to talk about that?
I know, exactly. So
which is worse now, the NFL Pro Bowl concept or the NBA pickup game concept? They both suck.
They're both awful, but I think the NHL's figured it out. You got to make it a Nations Cup. And I think that makes it exciting. And that's why we're, you know, excited for World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Hey, we got some more shout outs here. We got Greg Halen from Olympia, Washington, and Mark from San Diego. So love hearing everybody, you know, tell us where you're from.
Identify, please.
Identify, please. Hey, let's go. Want to go to social media?
Yeah, go ahead. Fire a few away here.
We can squeeze a few in. And, here, talking about the Mountain West. Remember this whole flex schedule thing that you were talking about? And this is from Dale Blazer. He goes, I think this idea is excellent. Let's say you have an AAC team that is slightly ahead of you, by being able to set a specific matchup, you may be able to pass up the AAC team. Media money has not been disclosed for the PAC. It's estimated between 7 and 10 mil, where most feel it's closer to 8 million. Seahawks play 2 playoff games against division opponents. That's 3 games. Did anyone care? Nope.
Okay. Well, you said a lot there. By the way, speaking of who's going where, last week we talked extensively about North Dakota State going to the Mountain West. Yeah, how do you like that road trip? And now, the story that just broke yesterday, Sacramento State, which has no athletic tradition, has just joined the Mid-American Conference. Can you believe Sacramento State is going to play Ohio U and Miami of Ohio and Toledo and Kent. And by the way, the MAC also has a University of Massachusetts, which has a wretched football program over there on the East Coast. So
that's your conference.
My conference was Midwest Conference. That's the Mid-American. That's not this.
Like Ohio Valley, right?
This is ridiculous.
Well, I'll give Sacramento State credit is that they want to be on the stage. You know, they want to be in the Pac-12. I mean, they were making pitches on the Pac-12 originally, but they got some money there at Sac State. So, I mean, if they want to be in the game and they want to pony up, why say no?
It's just as absurd as Northern Illinois leaving the MAC to go to the Mountain West.
Yeah, everything is crazy. I think we have to ignore it. Well, we've been ignoring the number on the end of the conference, and like the Big Ten has got 18 teams, and Big 12. So all of these old rules, geography, exist. They don't matter. They don't matter at all.
So that's where we are. I can't buy it. I wrote a column this past week on my website. You missed it. If you didn't read it, it's still there. It's still posted. Go dig around. LeeHacksawHamilton.com, my one man's opinion column on the Pac-12. I felt really bad for San Diego State. They worked so hard over the years to try to get to the Pac-12. And what they got is Pac-12, hardly any media money, and it looks like Mountain West 2.0. Nothing's changed.
You're beating the dead horse again. Yeah, it's not the Big Ten. Okay?
I'm telling the truth, though.
Yeah, but I know you're telling the truth. But let's accept the truth, and let's just be happy that those teams like San Diego State, they're going to get some more money. The conference is incrementally more competitive. You don't have to travel, up to Wyoming and play games up there. It's better. Now, hopefully at some point, the Aztecs will get into the power conferences. They deserve it. They build a stadium. Their team made the NCAA, finals in basketball. They've won other NCAA tournament, NCAA sports, in volleyball. I know they were a national championship in that. So why not? At some point, that's going to all work for them.
Can somebody please tell me, is there a direct flight that I can catch? No, actually, John can catch from Sacramento to Akron, Ohio, because that's the Mid-American Conference. Sacramento State versus Akron University.
They're going to charter that baby. They got money behind them. Jeez. It's not like you're going to get on a Southwest flight and do that.
Okay, we move on. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's talk some Dodgers. Here it is. And this is from Sumdro. He goes, Lee, always bashing the Dodgers and talking down on them. Lee has a lighter tone to his voice. This is in the most recent video you did. Or is he just looking for clicks? For a minimum, it sounds like he was going to jump the Padres ship and join Dodger fans. I got to say that Padre Brown adds 10 more years to you, but the Dodger Blue takes 10 years off of you.
Everybody's got snide remarks. That's okay. I'm just dealing with whatever the story of the day is. And the story this morning at 7 a.m. when the Padres announced AJ-RELENTLESS got the extension, coupled with the 4 lottery tickets he bought, that kind of ignited me. It's the first time I felt really positive about Padre baseball since they were up on the Dodgers in the playoffs a couple years ago and it got away. So am I feeling good about Padre baseball? Yeah, as complete as the team as they can be. That's really a positive. But, in terms of the Dodgers, I got great respect for who they are and their heritage and their legacy, and they're not doing anything illegal. They're just really brilliant, and they're pretty bloody rich. So if that offends you, then that offends you. But we're going to be here. We're just going to cover whatever the topic is hot today, or when we come back on Thursday, we'll talk about that too. And if I look like a pennant waving in the wind at Wrigley Field in Chicago, I guess I am.
Dodger fans are cocky SOBs, man.
Oh, John.
They are. They are. I mean, they're entitled to it. You win the championship, you got scoreboard, and it's just smacking down the little sister. It's like a total, Marcia Brady thing. Okay. That's what it's all about. But anyways, I think the Dodgers, you say they're a first-class org. They're playing by the rules. They've kind of outsmarted the league to a degree in a number of categories. You got to tip a hat, but damn it,
all you need to know
is
when the evil empires of the past, the Yankees, Mets, and Red Sox, are whining about what the Dodgers are doing, Dodgers have had real impact on baseball.
I like that. Okay, let's get another baseball one here. Talk some Angels with Halos Fan 30. Hey, the talent acquisition department is living on the theory if we put out enough bottles, we increase our chance of catching lightning.
Or if you throw enough against the wall, something will stick. 25 free agents. Now, all these guys, a large preponderance of these guys, they just signed Adam Frazier, who'd been a starting outfielder with the Pirates in Kansas City. He's the 25th street free agent. Every one of these guys has had good chunks of time as major league players, but have had injuries or have decreased in value. Now, they're trying to hope they can capture, as you would say, lightning in the bottle, or as I would say, 1 or 2 or 5 of these guys will stick on the wall and be influencers. I think the burning question, and I keep a list of every acquisition every team makes in baseball. Are any of these guys difference makers? Not one. A lot of guys were solid pitchers, had injuries. Can they come back? We don't know. A lot of guys hit well for average for a couple of years, tailed off badly. Can they come back? We don't know. So they got 25 names they threw up on the wall and hope a couple of these guys pan out. I don't think it's the way you build a team. It might be a way to fill holes like the Padres are doing with guys, but they got a lot of work to be done. But that's their philosophy. That's what Artie Moreno's dictated to that general manager, and we'll just have to see what they become. But they did sign. I believe they've signed more free agents, they and the White Sox, than anybody. But none of these guys are coming off what I call banner seasons. Their history is in the past.
Wonder what Kurt Suzuki is thinking, man. On one level, he's probably thinking, oh, geez, this is a lot worse than I thought it was going to be. Or on the other end, is he saying, hey, there's nowhere to go but up, and if I can catch lightning in a bottle and I can turn this team around and be a real boost to his career. So I know I want the Angels to be good, but I don't know what to expect.
I don't know what to expect either, except there's 25 names up there on the wall. Hey, listen, we hope you've enjoyed this podcast. You got to help us. Hit the follow button. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a 5-star rating. It really helps us a great deal. We'll be back here on Thursday at 1:30. We'll be zeroing in more on baseball spring training. Tell everybody what we do Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30. I want you to join me on this podcast. Join my Hacksaws Insiders group on my website. Check all that information out. Podcast brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. Been in business for more than 100 years. Go to DIXIELINE.com to see all the things they have to offer. You're awful lucky I didn't make you do this from left field because it's raining like hell outside in left field today. John, have yourself a great day. We'll see you come Thursday.
You got your REI rain slick on. You got some galoshes. What are you doing, Early?
I'm trying to avoid stepping in puddles. That's for certain.
Okay.
Hey, you have yourself a great day. We'll see you come Thursday. Thanks, as always, for being part of Hacksaw's Headlines.
Join us again for Hacksaw's Headlines on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And find the audio version on your favorite podcast apps. For more content, go to LeeHacksawHamilton.com.